Hey guys, welcome back to, excuse me, another repair video. This is the example that we'll be working on today. It is an Intermountain FP7. And last night I repaired a GP20, and this was the second on my roster. Let me show you here. And I did go ahead and pop the shell off just because curiosity got the best of me. So here's what we're working with this locomotive. Okay, I'll show you. I'm going to turn the flywheel right here and not here. There we go. You see how it's just moving those trucks like that? It's just a little teeny tiny bit of movement. That is telling me that we have something locked up in either this gearbox or this gearbox. So I'm going to tear it apart and see what's going on with it. This is a standard DC unit, so I don't think it's going to be too terrible to take apart. Probably just have to remove these two screws, the screws on the board, these two up here. Here it is. Screwdriver. Let me see. Yeah, because there's a seam all along this weight. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I don't see any screws on the bottom here. I'm thinking that the screws are going to be all on top, and that's how this is held down. But we will start with this little, I guess, wire management cover here. And this is a DCC ready locomotive, so that's kind of neat as well. Just toss everything in our parts bin here. And honestly, maybe it's just something with the actual driveline itself and not the gearboxes. That is a possibility as well. Here's a look. Hang on, my light's over here. Okay, here we are. There we go, get a nice look in there. Looks like we've got some dried grease, but nothing too horrible. Same with that side there. Probably just use some toothpicks and 70% isopropyl alcohol with some Q-tips to get most of that cleaned up. But I'm going to go and grab my actual strap for this, and then that should make working on this a little bit easier. Yeah, I can't find the strap, so I guess that I will have to invest in some better lighting in here. But my buddy already suggested that anyway, so that was in the works. I'm kind of thinking, after taking a second look at things, I think what I might do, yes. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my tweezers and these plugs right here are for your track power. So I'm just going to take these tweezers, get them underneath the edges of that plug, and gently pry it up. So we'll just set that to the side here. And this is the other truck plug. There we go. That one was a little harder to grab. Not too bad. Last one we need to do, right here. This is your motor plug. Same thing, just get under the sides of it. Work it back and forth gently. And when you're doing this, these wires are extremely small. Let me get a toothpick for scale here. Okay, this is your average toothpick, and the wires are smaller in diameter or about the same size as the end of this toothpick. If you take your tweezers and you're pulling up on this wire itself, there is a chance that you could A, either damage the wire, or B, just straight pull it out of this plug, and getting that repinned in there is going to be a total pain in the butt. So when you're doing that, yeah, and this applies for pretty much any electrical connector that you will ever see, you should always be grabbing it by the plug itself, not by the wires. There will be some special exceptions, but they are kind of few and far between. You really don't want to damage any wires or anything like that. We'll just start by taking these two rear screws out. I need an electric screwdriver for this. Oh my gosh. Make my life a lot easier. There's that rear plate. I'll just set that to the side here. And then I've got two screws here. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this mount for the front light and the number lights as well. It's kind of cool. It's integrated all into the circuit board right up here. It's pretty intricate lighting for a non-DCC system. Man, I almost might have to get a second container for screws. There are a lot of different lengths going on here. Let's see if we can just see how this comes out. Oh, okay. Pull out, not up. Just pop those over there. I'm going to gently see if I can, well, all right. This is going to, extremely careful when you do this. I'm just going to give it a little bit of pressure at the bottom of the circuit board here. This is a pretty delicate process, so very, very slowly, very, very carefully here. Just work that up a little bit. There might be glue in there, or it could just be a pressure fit. I'm kind of leaning towards a pressure fit. I think it's just pretty tight in there. So I will just take this, and without grabbing it by that LED, nope, you got to keep working it slowly. Like so. Just very slowly, very gently. Don't want to get crazy with it. There we go. Just going to make sure. I'm just wanting to verify I'm not pulling up any wires or anything like that. Actually, I'm going to see if I can use a toothpick on this. That makes me feel a little bit better. Just give that some. Yeah, there we go. Just work back and forth, left side, right side, back to the left side, gently and slowly. I've said it 4 times because that's the name of the game when working on locomotives. And there we go. This is the front light distribution board here. And then that gives us access to see the front drive a little more. So we'll pop these 2 screws out and see if we can just pop up this whole weight. Kind of looks like everything should just slip out of there. I think I can pull the wires around everything. And tilt it a little bit just to make sure we don't drop that screw down in. We want to make sure we can stay organized here. Those are the same length, so can go together. Just gonna, what I'm doing right now to keep this from separating in my hands while I have it up in the air, I have one finger here, and then I'm pinching the top of this weight and applying pressure with that finger. That'll just keep everything together because I'm not sure if it's not exactly sure how it's going to split apart, or if it's glued or just held in by screws. So just kind of one of those other little things to keep everything secure. And I think, let's see. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have to undo these screws on the board here and just pop this off. Just kind of, as we dig down, this thing is kind of getting pretty intricate. There we go. One more over here. We're gonna have to tuck these wires back out of the way, and same with the track pickup wires. We'll just move those. Pop this other screw out real quick, and then that should get this board out. Yep, there we go. And with these screws, I use tweezers, pull them out. That way I just know that right there, quick and easy and not gonna fall down. So that is the board removed. We will set this right on top of that case. Let me take a peek up and nice and close and personal with this thing. Well, I could reach through the front here and undo that clip. This is very similar to what you'll see on an Athearn Blue Box, how it's got a pin in the bottom, and then this clip goes over the worm gear that connects to the drive shaft and holds the truck in place. So it allows it a little bit of wiggle room. I could definitely get at that clip through this front, but what I'm more confused about is how I'm going to get the clip off this rear truck. Just take another peek in there. I just am not sure if there's a really good way to do that. But hey, there's both of the flywheels in that can motor. That thing is huge. Oh my gosh. Let me see if the, let me grab the manual here real quick. See what it says. Oh, and this comes with factory Katie's as well. That's just show removal. Let's keep taking a peek here. Yeah, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to get that rear box out. So, yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of research and see what other people have done with this, just so that I can get an idea of the best course of action. Let me take a look and see what I can find. Well, after searching on Google and YouTube, it does not appear that very many people have done this on video, but here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I have a couple different picks here. This is a like a horn hook pick, and then just a straight 90. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to snake this in here. Should be able to do it. I'm just going to kind of hold the locomotive a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to need the hook for this back one, it appears. And I can't show you on camera, but I'll show you once the truck is out. With these covers, there's going to be a little bit of a seam on them. Maybe I need to go from the front here. That might be a better course of action. But you're just going to want to take your pick and put it in that seam and just very gently, okay, back to the 90. Work on prying this up. I'm going to move these wires out of the way. So, let's see here. There we go. Got it. Just a gentle pry. And also when you're turning this, something you're going to have to watch out for is that drive shaft. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on that. It's just plastic, pretty sure. Yep, just plastic. So that would, if you accidentally snapped that, oh my gosh, would that suck. There we go, just find that other seam here. Did that do it? I think that about did it. Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, I use the tweezers a lot. Makes it a lot easier. So, oh my gosh. Look at that grease. That is probably why this was all seized up. So, that's honestly probably one of the best case scenarios. Whenever I disassemble trucks, I do them one at a time, so I will either take off the rear or the front first, get that all maintenanced, and let me find something to, here we go. I will just boop, boop, set that there, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to take this drive shaft. I'm going to put it on here and see if this is our problem truck. You will need to put your finger on top. Ugh. Oh no. That is taking way too much force to turn. I mean, you're going to have some force. This is a gearbox, so you're going to feel the friction of those gears. That should not be happening. That's a little bit too much force. And I think with these truck covers, I'm just going to see before I do any pulling here. I think, yeah, and take great care when you're working on these, because these trucks are extremely detailed. I mean, right there. Oh my gosh. So we'll just do a gentle pull, see if that gets us anywhere. I don't think so. Wait, it popped this side out a little bit. So maybe that is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I think so. I think it is. Just be careful of those brake lines. I think that's what they are, at least. Yep. It's popping that out. Oh. Man, I'm getting a little nervous with that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm going to go in from the bottom of the truck here. I'm just going to apply a, let's see. I think the contact, yes, the contact is wanting to stay with the truck cover itself. So we'll get under that. Just give it some gentle prise. Which I don't think that was working real well. Back to the old wiggle method here. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see what it's hung up on. I think it's hung up on this, in that center holder right there. See if I can get up underneath that thing. No, can't do that. And while we have these trucks disassembled, we're gonna do a light cleaning on the wheels too, because they're out and it's easy. So just take care of it while it's taken apart. Okay. I'm gonna grab from behind so that I'm not damaging this little wire here. There we go. So with these, if anyone is doing this for the first time, Pull apart, gently wiggle. Extremely gentle. These are really detailed trucks. It also looks like we have some grease and possibly corrosion on this contact. So we'll have to clean that up as well. We'll use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, make sure it's dry, and then probably hit it with, well, I use a little track cleaner. I'm not sure where it went. It's up here somewhere. Here it is. And then we'll just hit them with the white side of this track cleaner to make sure that they are all polished up. So let me get the other truck off now. I'll just do that same thing. Okay, these go down like that. That one came off a lot easier. I kind of wish the other one did that. I guess that these trucks use the outer covers quite a bit for support. Next thing we're going to do, swap this from our Phillips to flathead. We're going to come up under here. Let's make sure you guys can see these clips. Okay, there's a clip right here under this wheel. Just gently pry that up a tiny bit just until it pops over. Same with the other on this side. And once you have the clips on one side loosened up, the bottom of this gearbox should just pop off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the other side. So it's just the same thing. Just gently get under there. There we are. Boom. There's one. Get the other real quick. Oh, come on, don't be a bugger. Get the tweezers out for this one. They've just kind of got a sharper tip on them. It's not working. Not working how I want it. This is just a smaller flathead. There we go. Boom. Got it. Oh, joys. Look at all of that grease. It's probably why this thing was not moving. They just threw a bunch in there, and then I'm assuming that this just sat in the box and didn't get ran. And that'll happen. If you put a bunch of grease in here, well, really, that's not even a bunch of grease. If you let them sit, then that grease is going to get all sticky and cause a whole bunch of problems in these gearboxes. So, looks like it's spinning a lot better now, so I'm sure that this worm gear is just so gunked up that it couldn't turn. At least that's the case with that one, so. And also, I'm only going to show the disassembly process of one truck, since the other truck is exactly the same. And unless something else crazy happened, like a gear just totally split itself apart, I really think the other truck is going to be super similar. So I probably will do that off camera just so that I can move a tiny bit faster. We'll get this split. You want to be pretty careful when you do this, as with everything that has been done thus far. And maybe you need to pull this out, this top section. This is the holder for the worm gear. Let me see. Okay, looks, does this come off? I don't think that comes off the mount for the truck to go into the body so that it doesn't move. Oh, okay, so I just needed to pull it a little harder, evidently. So here's what we're working with. Pretty standard gearbox configuration. As you can see, all of that yellow grease, I'm pretty sure that it has turned that color due to just sitting, because as you can see, all of the grease that was in the, hang on, let me get the toothpick pointer out. The grease that was closer to the pressure points right here, I'm assuming that had less contact with the air, and it's, oh, well, okay, I thought it was super caked on for a minute, but this grease is actually a lot better, and this is just, looks like a little brown booger. Blech. So I'll take my, I just keep this for cleaning off the grease, because honestly, the least messy, oh, sorry, I had to readjust. The least messy way to do this is as dry as possible. That's what I prefer, at least. Man. So there's my toothpick. Here's my Q-tip. And we will pop this gear out. Let's see what's going on with this. See if it's just the grease. Yeah, look at how dirty that is. Just from the lubricants sitting there. It looks like it ran once at the factory and then stopped. So same thing here. The grease that was had less contact with the air is a completely different shade. Look at that difference. But I'm just going to take this Q-tip, wipe away all that snot, that booger snot, grossness. Bleh. Just get it off the outside first. Then come over to the other side, do the same thing. And make sure you have a lot of Q-tips for this, because you are going to need them. Okay. And same thing with the gears. I'm just going to show this one part since all the other gears are the same. This is quite the tedious task here. I'm just going through the teeth one by one, and what I'm looking to do with the toothpick is make sure that there's not any grease caked up in the bottom of that groove. If you do get something jammed down there, or if there's some hard packed grease, that won't allow the gears to mesh properly. So let me show you these ones. They appear to be meshing fine, but as you can see, if something, come on, focus. If something gets in between those teeth, it is not going to continue moving. It's just going to jam them and lock them up. So kind of hoping that's not what happened. I'm hoping it's just grease on the other side of trucks as well. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Get this all cleaned up. And then after, let's take care of the contacts real quick while I'm thinking about it. Just grab a new Q-tip here. We'll grab our contacts here. See how these clean up. Actually, they cleaned up pretty all right there. Yeah, look at that. They cleaned up okay. Just clean some of this extra grease. I don't like to leave that laying around. I think it looks tacky and lazy and like you weren't even in the locomotive. We're just going to take this and give her a little bit of love. I believe I just dropped that screw. And the black side of this track cleaner is actually slightly more abrasive. The white side is closer to like an eraser, in consistency. So I'm just going to see if I am able to get specifically these contacts where they meet the wheels shined up. Yeah, they're going. And I do prefer to do all this by hand. I know that's just me. I'm weird. Yeah, just clean that up. Do the same thing on the other sides and should be good to go. So I'm going to get this gearbox finished up, taken care of, cleaned up. And I'll show you guys the reassembly and how I lube these. I actually was watching an SMT mainline video, and I did what he suggested to do. So the grease that I have is just some Lucas Oil white lithium grease. I feel like, honestly, this is one of the best greases you can get for lubrication. So what I did is I mixed in a little bit of Hobby Lube. Let me find it here. Using that right there. Ultralight oil. Put a little bit of the grease in there along with the oil, and then I just kind of mixed it to a smoother consistency. I feel like the white lithium on its own is a great lubricant, but on HO scale trains, it is kind of thick, so I just wanted to thin it out a little bit so it'll spread easier on the gears, on the worm gear. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, let's take a peek at the worm gear and see what's going on with this. So, same thing, except the worm gears are really satisfying. You can go in here and just, it's a constant. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. Just get all that nasty. So I go with the toothpick and I clean out the very bottom of it first. Then after I do that, I'll go back in with a Q-tip and just clean off the excess to make sure that it's not super sloppy or anything like that. And oh my goodness, there's quite a bit of grease on this thing. Quite a bit, I do say. Let's just keep picking it out. Oh, there we go. All right. Toothpick done, Q-tip coming in. Then I just take this and I just clean up all that nasty stuff all the way around so that there's none left. And sorry, getting a little close so that I can see it. I think I'm going to need to put a little rubbing alcohol on this. Let me just get some real quick. That would just make me feel a little better. Probably not necessary. I think I got most of it out of that worm gear, but I want to do this just to be sure. I'll take this and I will just work that into all these grooves and give it a good scrub. Yeah, that's the result I wanted. Right there. Very little oil left over. And then on this side, there wasn't a bunch of oil, so I'm just going to take the Q-tip and, or grease, I should say. Take the Q-tip and get all that off of there. And then I think these bearings are going to need some oil. I'm not sure if they're supposed to move on the shaft. I don't think so, but we'll get them oiled back up so for when they're sitting in the carrier, they will have minimal friction. So I'm going to clean all this up and I will join you guys back with the reassembly process. I now have everything cleaned. I will save the detail on the shelf for later, although I'm really tempted to show you guys. But we must wait. We must wait. I will say it's fantastic. So, here are the trucks, and I did go ahead and just clean up those the contacts right there. And then here are is the shell of the gearbox itself. As you can see, I cleaned out all that old nasty grease, and same with all the gears. So here's the end result of the cleaning. As you can see, there's not really anything in the teeth of the gears, and I did also clean up the sides just to make sure we didn't have any gunky, nasty stuff in there. So, oh, I forgot to clean out the bottom of the gearbox really quick, but thankfully, that was simple. Trash can. So what I'm going to do now is get this gearbox reassembled. And I'm going to take a little bit of oil and put it on oh, come on, focus. Put it on all of these points right here because they make contact with the gears. Once all of the gears are in the gearbox itself, I'll go ahead and apply some of this thinned out grease right here. And then we'll sandwich everything back together and get it back installed. And I'm not sure if this gearbox was the problem or if that other one was, or both. So I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But let's grab our ultralight oil here and just do a little dab here. Oh, that was a little more than I wanted. Okay, that side's oiled. Get this side oiled up as well. Oh, I forgot that I made ramen. Dang it. Okay, here's the order of the gears. This big one goes up top here and just kind of slides in there. You need to slide it. Oh, come on. Come on. Camera focus. I'm having gripes with my camera at the moment. Slide it up, and then it should... I need my tweezers. Oh, come on, please. Yep, there we go. Should just slide into place right there. Next gear is right here. Just put it in its holder. Smallest middle gear. And the last. So now I'll just verify that everything is turning smoothly. Don't do this very hard because you might pop a gear out and send it flying. Now we will take our grease. I'm just going to take a very small amount. Come on. My goodness. Small amount of grease right there. Maybe I need to adjust my camera angle a tad here. Let's see if that helps. It does not help, but tiny glob of grease. We'll just take that and get it a little bit applied to all of the gears here. Then we'll put a little bit on the wheels as well. Well, not the wheels themselves, however, the gears on the wheels. There we go. I'll just take this other half of the gearbox and slide her on there. Oh, this one's doing something weird. I think that this gear is just having a hard time. Yep, it was just having a hard time lining up. After that, take your 2 screws for the gearbox. Plop one in here. Plop the other one on that side. Get those tighten down, and as soon as you feel the slightest amount of resistance on these screws, you need to stop. Any more torque than that, and it will most likely strip this plastic out. That is something to keep in mind with all of your train stuff. So you just get to that point and then you give it a little boop, just like the tiniest hair of a turn. Right there, you really don't want to damage it. And then we'll throw our wheels on like that. Grab a tiny bit more grease, that's more than I wanted. Plop that there. Plop that there. Now we are good to go to put our lower cover back on. Oh, my light died, dang it. There we are. Truck is most of the way assembled. Now we take, make sure let me just double check this with, all right. I need to swap this around so that I do not get it backwards. Oh my gosh, okay, hang on. We're gonna come back in just a few minutes after I charge my light. Now that the light is charged up and I can see what I'm doing, we will continue with this. Oh, goodness. So we're gonna start by inserting this truck cover right here. You have to align the wheels first. Oh, maybe not align the wheels first. There's a center pin there. I'm going to put that center pin in. Put that wheel into the contact and get it all pushed together. This is held in with this step. So once you have that put together, you put the step in, set it flush, and that is what holds the trucks together on this unit. I did not notice that little bit of gunk. See if we can get that off. Oh, almost. Well, that's unfortunate. I think that's like glue or something, honestly. That's kind of what it feels like. I'm going to take this and get it inserted to this truck cover here. Let's see, like so. And then you can just take the other side and make sure you have it put on the right way. Get everything lined up. Once again, we're going to start with the top hole here. Get the wheels put into place. All right, that's just kind of together. Then I'm going to make sure that this is, nope, that one looks like it just goes into a couple holes, and same with that one there. Boom. Just get this press fit back together really quickly. There we go. Insert the other step. Look at that. What is it? Is it Classic Model Trains or SMT that this says Bob's your uncle? But Bob's your uncle. We will quickly get the worm gear reinstalled here. I'm going to put a tiny drop of oil just right here where those bearings sit. Okay. There we go. And then I will put a small amount on the top as well whenever we go to put the actual holder back on. But on this worm gear, again, with that grease, just grab a little bit of it. Oh, that's too much of it. There we are. And I apply this directly into the middle of the worm gear, since that's the part that's going to be meshing with the gear. So it's where I want most of the contact to be. I'm just going to make sure that's fully seated as well. Dang it, I forgot to clean out the actual holder. We'll just give that a quick wipe here. Clean out most of that gunky nasty. Gunky nasty gunk. Be gone! And just to verify that this drive is spinning properly, I'm going to go ahead and toss this back on before we throw it in the locomotive. Had a slight mishap with the camera, aka my phone, running out of space there. Where we left off, let's test this drive out really quick. Still has a little bit of friction, but I'm sure that will ease up once we run the locomotive around the layout a couple times. That should, in theory, oh, dang it, losing my stuff. That should, in theory, clear up and start to run fairly smooth. So let me just grab my screwdriver back out here, and this would have been a lot easier if there wasn't so much around this clip initially while it was in the locomotive. The normal process, I say normal, you just kind of pry up on that side and get it off the clips, and then just same on the other side, you just pry up. Oh, come on. There we go. Get those clips off, and then should just simply pop off. With that being said, let's get our locomotive back over and take this, thread these wires up and through the chassis of the locomotive. There we go. Got that in place, and you'll know that it's fully seated whenever, oh, hang on. Kind of wondering if I didn't get these wires. Oh no, I got them in there right. There we go. There's the nipple on the trucks, and that will go into the dimple on the chassis itself. I was not showing that very good. And then it will be fully seated and aligned. So from that point, all that you have to do is get your little drive shaft, and I should put a tiny amount of grease on this as well. Just on both ends. Take a little bit, pop it in there, pop it in there, bing, bang, boom. Put a little bit on this knuckle side. That hurt. Don't stab yourself with the oil bottle. And then we can just take the locomotive here. Oh, dang, I'm going to need some tweezers for this, and possibly to set it down. Let's see. It's going to be inserted like that into the locomotive. Just take and pop that drive shaft down in there. Then you'll probably need to align that truck just a little bit, so take it out of its little dimple in the chassis. Twist that over a little bit until everything lines up just perfectly right. Boom. there we go. Put it back in the dimple. And once that is done, we'll just take our little clip here. These ears right here, the ears, they need to go towards the motor. So all you have to do is take this and make sure your wires are not in the way. Sorry, it's not the best angle for the camera at the moment. But once the, oh, come on. I'm going to try something a little different with the wires. Here we go. Let me just do an adjustment. Take those wires, get them out of the way, and simply push down, and now your truck is reassembled into the locomotive. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do this front truck off camera. Since this is the can motor, there's not much we can do besides put a little bit of oil on the bearings on the outside of the case. Wow. Totally was not even in frame right there. What in the world am I doing? There's a bearing right here on the edge of the motor case. Same here as well. I'm just going to put a drop of oil right there. And when I say drop, I mean like the smallest possible drop of oil you can. That should be good enough. But I'm going to get this front truck taken care of. I'll assemble everything back together. The assembly process is just the reverse of the disassembly process, so anyone following along should be able to just watch the video back and do things in the reverse order. So we'll do that, and then we'll take it over to the track and see how it's running. Here we are with the FP7 set up on the track. I've got my layout ready for a DC locomotive. It is time for the biggest moment of this whole video. Let's see if it runs. Turning on power slowly. There we go. I had it going backwards. Whoops. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't think I have the body on the front all the way. I'll have to check that out in just a moment, but look at her go. Nice and smooth. Let's turn it up a little bit. Oh my gosh, and the number lights, it looks so good. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna pull it around and show you guys the detail on this thing really quick, and then we will end the video. So as you can see on the back, we've got grab rails for the door, grab rails for the side, wipers up front, grab rails on the front, and of course working number lights. So fantastic model. But with that, guys, we are going to wrap up this video, so I will catch you in the next one.